नमस्कार, प्रभासाक्षी न्यूज नाटक और आप सभी का स्वागत है। केंद्रीय संचार मंत्री ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया ने आज एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बताया कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी दूर संचार क्षेत्र की 2 ऐतिहासिक पहलों का शुभारंभ करेंगे। इनमें सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है BSNL का स्वदेशी 4G स्टैक, जिसे देश भर में लगभग 98,000 साइटों पर लागू किया जाएगा। सिंधिया ने कहा कि भारत का कोई भी हिस्सा इससे अछूता नहीं रहेगा। उन्होंने जानकारी दी कि BSNL के 4G टावर और बेस ट्रांसीवर स्टेशन पहले से ही 2.2 करोड़ ग्राहकों को सेवा दे रहे हैं। नया नेटवर्क पूरी तरह सॉफ्टवेयर संचालित और क्लाउड आधारित होगा। इसकी खासियत यह है कि इसे सहजता से 5G में अपग्रेड किया जा सकेगा। सिंधिया ने बताया कि इस अवसर पर प्रधानमंत्री मोदी डिजिटल भारत निधि के तहत देश में 100% 4G संतृप्ति नेटवर्क का भी अनावरण करेंगे। इस परियोजना के अंतर्गत अब तक लगभग 29,000 से 30,000 गांवों को जोड़ा जा चुका है। मंत्री ने कहा कि यह पहल न केवल ग्रामीण भारत को डिजिटल सेवाओं से जोड़ेगी, बल्कि आत्मनिर्भरता और तकनीकी प्रगति का भी प्रतीक बनेगी।
Welcome all members of our media fraternity. Today is a historic day. A historic day not only for BSNL, a historic day not only for the technology equipment manufacturing sector, but a historic day for India, and also, I would say, a historic day for the world. While on the one hand, it is a few days prior to BSNL's Silver Jubilee, 25 years of service to the nation, service to 140 crore people across the length and breadth of India. On the other hand, tomorrow, Honorable Prime Minister will inaugurate and unveil an innovation that will be India's contribution under his leadership to the world and global community. This is a new era for the telecom sector, an era where India has entered into the domain of the Big Four, who produce and manufacture telecom equipment in the world: Denmark, Sweden, South Korea, and China. The Big Four countries and the Big Five companies. India is now the 5th country and the 6th company to produce telecom equipment in the history of the world. This big change in attitude, change in goals, was pushed, pioneered, and catalyzed by none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. In 2020, he took a very bold decision when tenders had been put out for 4G equipment, that instead of purchasing foreign equipment, we will produce our own 4G stack in India. His oft repeated goal कि हर अवसर में हमें, हर चुनौती में हमें अवसर ढूंढना होगा, was applied to the telecom sector as well. And over a record amount of 22 months, a country that was dependent historically as a buyer of foreign technology, innovated, engineered its own domestic 4G stack. This was a combination of, again, what is oft repeated: सबका साथ, सबका विश्वास, Sabka Vikas, and most importantly, Sabka Prayas, where we had our Indian technology company owned by Government of India, CDOT, producing the core software, a private sector company built with strong efforts by entrepreneurs, Tejas Networks building the RAN, the radio access network, and to combine the efficiency of both the core and the RAN, an Indian SI, system integrator, Tata Consultancy Services. On this day, I would like to thank the men and women behind all three companies that have worked tirelessly, day and night, night and day, gaining strength from their failures, toiling, going far beyond expectations, and making sure that we produce the impossible, which is our 4G stack. Tomorrow, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji will be unveiling two very, very important initiatives. The first, BSNL's 4G stack, which will be rolled out tomorrow across close to 98,000 sites across the country. No part of India will be left untouched. And mind you, our 4G towers and BTSs are already serving 22 million customers across the length and breadth of our country. It's fully software driven, the network, it's cloud-based, future-ready designed, and most importantly, it will upgrade seamlessly to 5G. So 4G is behind us. We are now perfecting it, and we will be moving slowly towards converting that to 5G as well. Now, what does this mean? For a common student, our students in Bihar can access world-class online education. Our farmers in Punjab can access mandi prices. Our soldiers in Kashmir can stay connected with their families. Our entrepreneurs in the Northeast can get access to international level expertise and funding. All of this is now possible with our 4G stack. And along with this 4G stack, we're also unveiling India's 100% 4G saturation network through Digital Bharat Nidhi, where close to 29 to 30,000 villages have been connected on the 4G saturation mission mode project. And therefore today, the precursor to Prime Minister's unveiling tomorrow, India has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. She has arrived in the arena of global leadership in telecom under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, just as she has in the arena of space with Chandrayaan-2, Gaganyaan, Aditya L1, and just as she has in the area of medicine with Vaccine Maitri. And therefore today is an important day heralding in 24 hours the emergence of India on the global telecom footprint, not only as a service provider, 1.2 billion customers, 944 broadband customers with the cheapest call rates and the cheapest data rate at 11 cents a GB in the world. But also, tomorrow will be the day when the world will awake to India having arrived not only as a services provider, but as a manufacturer and an equipment provider of a full 4G stack, which India will also use in the very notion that she always has had, ki Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, to ensure growth, equity, inclusivity in other nations of the world. Thank you very much. So what we did, the first, let's go to brass tacks. So we had a total of close to about 28,000 sites, of which roughly close to about 2,241, that's the number there, had some issue or the other. Some of them had multiple issues, right? And so for a couple of months we were noticing that the delta was not changing monumentally. It was changing only incrementally. So we delved into what the reasons were for that happening. And we came up with 6 reasons. And that's identified on the screen. I don't know, can you guys see? Yeah, okay. So the font is really small. But revenue, forest wildlife, security, local land dispute, accessibility, and right of way. These 6, and then under other issues. These 6 issues were the primary hiccup to these sites being rolled out. So we identified 2241 sites, as you can see here, that were having these problems, which were leading to close to, if I'm correct, 2415 issues. So some sites had multiple issues, not a single issue. It is 2415 is written there. And out of 2415, you can see column K for kangaroo. When we put the system in place, then we identified across every state, and as an example, you can see Orissa, Karnataka, Arunachal, Chhattisgarh, and Andhra. Okay, because these were the maximum states that, the maximum sites in these 5 or 6 states, close to about 1,000 out of the 2241. We identified the districts in these states that were having multiple issues, and 67% of 2415 actually came from 18 districts in the country alone. Then we decided to work with secretary, spoke to each chief secretary, I spoke to every chief minister, I wrote to every chief minister saying, this site has these 3 issues, kindly resolve it. This site has these 3 issues. And now you will see, we started this process in February, I think. Yeah, in February of this year. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We are into our 7.5 months. And if you look at that column, we've resolved 1868 issues out of 2415. So almost 80% of the issues we've resolved. And this has only been possible because of the combined efforts of our department, DOT, the states, every state resolving issues, and we've got out of 36 states and union territories, almost about 11 states and union territories with 0 issues left, right? So we've been at it, which is why you've been able to see this level of compliance and execution happening. And all of those issues with regard to battery, media, power backup are obviously part of that whole exercise. Across the world today now getting into serious manufacturing in India. Firms like Cisco that have tie-ups with manufacturers in India, like Flex. You've got Ericsson with tie-up with VVDN in Jabil. You've got Dixon in India. So slowly India is becoming a telecom equipment manufacturing hub. And therefore the comment I made to you, that we are not only a services bouquet, but we are now becoming a equipment manufacturing bouquet as well.
Access network, how is that going to
So thank you for your question. And yes, C dot is, I correct myself, C dot is no longer only core, but C dot is also now producing RAN. So when we started this program, C dot was only doing the core and Tejas was doing the RAN, but now C dot is also entered into the RAN. I do see a big market for this equipment, especially in the global south. And that's going to be the responsibility not of BSNL, because BSNL is a telco. It will be the responsibility of these three firms together to present that as a package, just as they have done to BSNL. So BSNL is a client, or rather a customer. But yes, I do see possibilities of that, not necessarily in India, because most of the telcos have already rolled out their 4G network and their 5G network, but certainly in other countries where 4G has not proliferated to that great extent.
Got it, sir. One more thing, at a time, when private players are increasing the tariff.
So just to answer your question on this, someone raised the issue, you raised the issue also, power and media. So there are 2 or 3 parts of the puzzle that still need to be solved for BSNL. One is to increase these number of sites. The second is to replace the power and media at the traditional sites as well. So we've already worked out a capex plan, and there is going to be hopefully a combination, some from the free cash flows that BSNL will start throwing out in the next over the next 5 years, plus some from land monetization, and then some help also from the center.
So at
So
a time,
the rubric is in place, but I'll only present it to you once I'm done.
sir, one more.
So in terms of, what was your first question again, in terms of the ARPU? So again, I'm not going to discuss ARPU issues here because I'm not the minister for BSNL, I'm the minister for Telecom, right? We have a very robust market in India. I do believe that the cost of telecom services today in India are the cheapest in the world. 0.03 paise per minute for voice, 9 rupees for data, 11 cents per GB. The average cost per GB across the world is $2.49. So we are at 5% of the world's average. Now, in terms of access, inclusivity, there's no one to beat India. Having said that, the setting of ARPUs and setting of packages is each company's domain. It's a very highly competitive market, and I don't think that there's any place for regulation of that. Your second question was with regard to BSNL. Yes, we did clock 2 quarters of profit, but also remember the statement I just made. You've had the highest capex in the history of BSNL in last FY, 24-25, 25,000 crores. And if you do depreciation on SLM method, straight line method, to just keep it very simple, you're looking at close to a 2,500 crore hit in terms of a non-cash hit to the bottom line, right? Because your depreciation is a cost on your P&L. And therefore, you may not necessarily see that run rate of profitability going forward, because that 2,500 crore hit on a 25,000 crore capex was not there last year. So therefore, I would urge all of you, and also through you urge analysts in the investment banking space, to look at operating profit and EBITDA numbers going forward rather than looking at bottom line. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
हम आपको बता दें कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में भारत का दूरसंचार क्षेत्र निरंतर नवाचार और आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में आगे बढ़ा है। कभी पिछड़ेपन और विदेशी तकनीक पर निर्भर रहने वाला यह क्षेत्र आज स्वदेशी 4G स्टैक और भविष्य के लिए तैयार 5G ढांचे के साथ वैश्विक प्रतिस्पर्धा में खड़ा है। ज्योतिरादित्य सिंधिया की घोषणाएं इस बात की पुष्टि करती हैं कि भारत अब केवल उपभोक्ता नहीं बल्कि दूरसंचार तकनीक का निर्माता भी बन रहा है। डिजिटल इंडिया मिशन की जड़ें अब गांव-गांव तक पहुंच रही हैं। देखा जाए तो यह न केवल आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण का माध्यम है बल्कि भारत को डिजिटल महाशक्ति बनाने की ठोस दिशा भी तय करता है।
अगर आप भी लेना चाहते हैं देश दुनिया की तमाम जानकारी तो आज ही सब्सक्राइब करें हमारे चैनल को। साथ ही नीचे दिए बेल आइकन को जरूर दबाएं ताकि हर अपडेट आप तक पहुंच सके।